Welcome back to Just Chattin. And this is the series of videos we do on Thursday and Sunday evenings just for our own entertainment. So for all you Audie fans, he is sleeping a few feet away from me because it's gloomy out and it looks like it might rain. And Audie is no great fan of bad weather, as we all know. For our UK viewers, I do want to say it is Sunday when I am filming this, and I know this is Remembrance Sunday where you are. You are not seeing this until Monday, but our thoughts are with you. We are celebrating our own related holiday on Tuesday, and that's Veterans Day here, and our holiday is a little more celebratory, a little less somber in nature, because it recognizes veterans both past and present. But do know that this time of year, you are in our thoughts. So we are going to break very briefly for the intro. If Audie shows up, he shows up, but I have a feeling bad weather, he's going to sleep right through this one. All right, we'll be back in a moment. So, let's get into it. First of all, we have a few stories circulating that when William's time comes, Nutmeg and the sock puppet are going the way of Andrew and Fergie. Now, first of all, I don't think this is any great surprise to anyone. We'll see it if it happens. For William's sake, I hope the matter is resolved in Charles's reign and that it doesn't fall to William. I very much doubt that will happen, but it looks like William will be left with streamlining Nutmeg and the sock puppet out of the royal family, at least the working end of the royal family. It may well involve removal of titles. Remember, it did in Denmark. So, William already has a template to follow if he so chooses. Choose, William, choose. But other stories are floating around. Again, no surprise that Nutmeg will fight a legal battle to retain her title, which is crazy because it's nothing more than a courtesy title. This is not a title that she personally is entitled to. It's just the title she gets by virtue of being married to a duke. That's all. As for her children, well, I'm not clear about how this would work. I would say offhand that if Charles or William said, these children are being raised in a foreign country, furthermore, that does not recognize these titles, that maybe the titles are superfluous and should be withdrawn. I don't see how anyone could argue with that, but will Nutmeg do it if it comes to it? Oh yeah, you bet she will. So I think whatever happens, we can certainly expect Nutmeg to act in character and, yes, fight tooth and nail for what she feels is hers, even if it's not hers and really shouldn't be. The next one up is the sock puppet went to Canada. Obviously, is anybody surprised by this? William was launching Earthshot activities. Where is the sock puppet going to be? Well, somewhere he can grab headlines. It's like you could set your watch by this. It's become so predictable that it's no longer even amusing. It's just pathetic. And in Canada, he explained that, yes, he wore an LA Dodgers hat under duress because he was forced to. How can anybody stand up and call themselves a man when they are saying in the next breath they were forced to wear a ball cap. They did it under duress. Again, we are moving from merely laughable to absolutely pathetic. The thing is, I do not believe either Nutmeg or the Sock Puppet are legitimate ball fans, because baseball fans are a very peculiar breed. My British friends, just think football fans. Really, it's the same. It's like, when we have our team, that's our team. You want me to wear a New York Yankees cap? You're going to have to stick it on my cold, dead body. By the way, everyone in New York would tell you the same thing about a Boston Red Sox cap. So, yeah, we know they're not fans. Fans actually have a relationship, parasocial relationship though it may be, with their team. And they don't just say, oh yeah, sure, I'll wear somebody else's hat if you'd like. No. So, do I believe they have any affinity for the Dodgers at all? No, of course not. And now Harry's gone off and pretty much said, no, he doesn't. I don't even know what to say about this. As I say, he's moving from amusing to pathetic. And I'm really starting to feel a little bit sorry for him. Not too sorry. He's brought this on himself. He did this. So, now moving on to the major story. And I do mean story. It is being rumored that Nutmeg is going to make a cameo appearance in an upcoming movie. Now, it's important to remember that this apparently traces back to one source, a source who has said they were sworn to secrecy about Nutmeg's alleged appearance in this movie. So, oh, and mind you, sworn to secrecy, but telling anyway. So the source is an admitted oath breaker. Not just, I'm telling tales out of school, but I swore not to tell this, but I'm doing it anyway. So yeah, where's their credibility? And as I've said many times, it's ridiculous to give too much credence to an unnamed source. But at this point, we've got an unnamed source that was allegedly sworn to secrecy and is breaking that secrecy again. You really want to take their word for anything? Oh, please. But I thought I would give you one of the articles just so you can get a feel for the flavor of how this is being reported. Because I think finally the media is catching on, and they are reporting this crap with a jaundiced eye. The original story, by the way, went to People magazine, which is one of Nutmeg's favorite PR outlets. But the version I'm giving you is from The Independent. So here we go. The big problem with Meghan Markle's acting comeback. And it's not Harry or the royals. After her Netflix series flopped, rumor has it that the Duchess of Sussex will make her return to cinema screens by playing herself. Lydia Spencer Elliott reports Friday, 7th of November, 2025, 14:02 Eastern Standard Time. 8 years after announcing her retirement from Hollywood to become a working royal, Meghan Markle is reportedly reviving her acting career to make a return to screens as herself. The Duchess of Sussex, who stepped back from royal duties in 2020 and returned to the safety of California, citing exhaustion and desire for peace, is believed to be filming scenes for a forthcoming film, Close Personal Friends, alongside Lily Collins, Brie Larson, and Jack Quaid, according to The Sun. A studio source claimed the Duchess was on set of the Amazon MGM Studios production, shooting scenes in Pasadena this week. They added the film which follows two couples, one famous and one not, who become friends, was a massive moment for Markle and signifies a return to doing what she truly loves. According to the source, Markle has been swamped with offers to get back in front of the camera, but this one, perhaps the easiest role of all time, felt right. It is Meghan's way of gently putting her toe back in the water and seeing how she enjoys being back on set, they explained, adding, everyone was super excited and had been sworn to secrecy. Markle's decision to play herself in a career-reviving role is decidedly strange. She has spent the last year being beguiled by bees and making cakes with B-list celebrities on her lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan, which was widely lampooned. Could playing herself fix a floundering reputation? Somehow it seems unlikely. The 44-year-old former Suits star who played paralegal Rachel Zane for 7 years of the show was a solid actor before she packed it all in to shake hands and wave from balconies when she agreed to marry Prince Harry in 2017. I never had to worry about a scene she was going to be in. I knew that she'd bring a performance that was just right. The West Wing star Tim Matheson told Fox of his time directing Markle during season 1 of Suits last year, adding the Duchess's choice to quit acting was a bold move on her part. For Markle to play herself now feels more than a little overly safe and misguided. There's always something decidedly cringe about an A-lister who cameos as their own famous face in a film. Donald Trump in Home Alone, Al Pacino in Jack and Jill, Katy Perry in Zoolander 2, to give a few examples. Markle returned to the screens amid her Hollywood hiatus with the tell-all Harry and Meghan documentary that aired in 2022, followed by 2 seasons of With Love, Meghan in March and August of 2025, which saw her cook and craft alongside stars including Mindy Kaling and Queer Eye's Tan France to try and make good on her deal with the streaming platform, thought to be worth over $100 million, 74 million pounds. A special Christmas episode of With Love, Meghan, called Holiday Celebration, is now slated to air this December for the festive season. In August this year, Sussex's multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix became markedly less prestigious when it became a first-look deal rather than an exclusive contract with the streaming service. Now, Netflix will get to see what content the couple come up with and say yes or no before anyone else, but they will not be under any obligation to stream it. A huge, glaring sign that nothing Markle has released as herself has hit quite the same success reputationally as Suits, her last good performance. Yet perhaps the true reason Markle can only play herself is that she has such a domineering personal brand, thanks to all this Netflix hullabaloo, that it's too difficult for her to believably play anyone else without severe amounts of special effects makeup or some kind of elaborate costume. Still, if we're to believe what sources say to People, Markle, who has been put through the ringer quite enough in the past decade, is very relaxed and happy about her small part. Maybe, after all the criticism and the disparaging reviews, taking a creative risk just felt a little too scary. Sometimes it's better the devil you know, even if that is yourself. Okay, I have to say, I loved that last line about the devil you know, even if it's yourself. Very subtle way of claiming that nutmeg is the devil incarnate while maintaining a certain amount of plausible deniability. Good for the author. There were a lot of interesting things in this little article, including the fact that Nutmeg is getting back to what she loves. Oh, nonsense. She never loved acting. She never wanted to be an actress. She wanted to be a star. She wanted the red carpets. She wanted the glamour. She wanted the fame, the celebrity, the money, and perhaps even what she perceived to be the power that went with the celebrity. Did she want to be an actress? No. She turned down opportunities for stage work, which, by the way, is where all actors go. If you love acting, stage, that's where they go. It is absurd to put Nutmeg in the same category with stage actors who will do Shakespeare in the Park, who will pick up a brush and paint scenery when they have a few spare minutes. These are people who love the craft. Nutmeg never loved the craft. If she did, she certainly wouldn't have dumped it first chance she got, would she? It was just a vehicle for stardom. That is all she ever wanted. So that part was foolish. Also, they're talking about how Nutmeg was swamped with offers. Name one. Come on, name one. Just one. I don't believe that for an instant. I believe if she had any legitimate offers, she would have jumped at them. And if she had any legitimate offers, then why did Harry feel the need to pimp her out to Bob Iger for that voiceover work for the Disney documentary? By the way, I'd quite forgotten about this until I looked up the photo of Bob Iger and found that Jon Favreau was another one that Harry had pigeonholed in that, well, like I say, pimping his wife out. And Jon Favreau, interestingly enough, has been very involved in the Marvel Universe franchise, and not just as a director, but as an actor. And Deadpool and Wolverine, which came out recently. Anybody who watched it, and I certainly did. Oh, I've watched it a number of times. I like the Deadpool movies. I find them very funny. Full of celebrity cameos. Full of them. Nutmeg? No, not so much. So I would say if anybody was really interested in making her an offer, yeah, they'd have done it by now. So, just going to kind of walk away from all of that and take a look at whether or not this is anything more than a rumor. And I would say there are three possibilities we're dealing with. One, this is Nutmeg's version of sympathetic magic. And we know she believes in this. And for those of you who are not familiar with the concept of sympathetic magic, and I think most of us are at this point, but it is when one engages in an action in order to affect future events. So the most classic example, I would guess, would be the cave paintings from the Paleolithic era, when anthropologists and archaeologists are telling us that these were not depictions of actual events that the cave painters witnessed, but rather that they were painting what they hoped to instantiate in the future. If they painted a hunt that was full of bison and successful bringing down the game, and that this is what would happen, that they could influence future events with their paintings. Smaller examples that we have in our everyday life is children skipping down the sidewalk and saying, "Step on a crack, break your mother's back." Obviously, people know that if you step on a crack, it's not going to impact your mother's health and well-being in any way. But 5-year-old children will go very far out of their way not to step on those cracks because, of course, to a 5-year-old, it could seem very real. That is sympathetic magic in a nutshell. Is Nutmeg throwing this out in the hopes that someone will make her an offer? Maybe, maybe. She has engaged in this sort of behavior before. Remember Nutmeg putting out that she was going to be presenting at the Oscars, and I believe this was in 2020? Yeah, it didn't happen, did it? So part sympathetic magic, yeah, I'd say that might even be a piece of it. Part wishful thinking, part throwing the idea out and hoping somebody jumps on it. Yeah. Also, though, because this is Nutmeg, we really do need to consider the very real possibility that she throws these things out in order to intentionally put people in the awkward position of having to come out and say, "No, it's not so." Well, I think after Dior did that, when she put out rumors that she was going to be the new face of Dior, I think it made it a lot easier for everyone else. But the fact is, she gets the publicity either way. She throws out the rumor, she gets herself associated with a film or with Dior, which she did. Obviously, it wasn't a real association, but the headlines were there. Nutmeg rumored to be the new face of Dior. That counts for her. So, do I think this may just be some cynical ploy to get her name back in the papers again? Sure, why not? I guess the bottom line is, I have no idea if it's true or false. Why? Because we're dealing with Nutmeg, and when you are dealing with this woman, you never know if anything is true or false. So, based on my, if Nutmeg is involved, it's more than likely false belief, I would have to say, I doubt it. I'm sure that there is at least some possibility that this is happening, but would I put that possibility very high? No, I wouldn't. And here's the thing, all of the media stories, every last one of them that I found, and I believe I've included something like 3 or 4 of them in the video notes, so you can check it for yourself. They are all being very cautious and saying, well, this is rumored, this is the story. If you believe the source, if you believe what came out in People magazine, they're being very, very cagey. Why? Because they have dealt with this woman often enough over a long enough period of time to realize that just because her PR people say it does not make it so. So I would have to say that, if nothing else, is a very, very good thing to come out of all of this. The fact is, she's cried wolf so many times, no one's willing to go out on a limb and say, well, we heard this story, let's run with it. Oh no, it's full of these cautious little caveats. If you believe the story, if we can trust the source, if People is correct. And that's where she's ended up. She is firmly in the realm of liar, liar, pants on fire, and no one is taking her version of events uncritically anymore. Again, very, very good news. So that is what I have for you today. And we are getting some Audie time after all. Okay, that is what I have for you today. The Audie fans, well, here, okay, all right, fine, you can stay here. Here is the baby, and obviously he needs comfort and reassurance because the weather is bad, and that just Oh, that does not sit well with the poor little cat. All right. Thank you all for being with us. I hope to see you next time. We are going to take a look at a slideshow on the way out. And in the meanwhile, have a terrific day.